Hi everyone, I'm Shelly from There's No Place Like Home at redheadmom8.wordpress.com. I want to thank all of you for coming here a week late since I missed it last week. We were visiting with our two older kids, our two oldest kids, so we were not able to do the live stream last week, and it's probably a good thing because my 84-year-old mother fell that night and broke her shoulder. So it's been quite a busy time for me lately. So anyway, I decided that I was going to talk about special needs homeschooling today. And I decided that with everything going on with my channel, if you don't know, I'll explain a little bit later. But with everything going on with my channel and with all the stuff going on with censorship everywhere, I really wanted to discuss how it really is connected with homeschooling. I'm not saying that censorship happens because of homeschooling, but I'm saying that there is a definite connection between the two. And honestly, with censorship, you can't properly homeschool. Hi, everybody. I'm so happy to see all of you here. And again, I just want to thank you so much for coming here. And like I said, a week late. So, let me first of all talk about what's been going on with my channel. A couple weeks ago, I got a notification that YouTube was going to start, they were going to disable comments of channels that ever showed kids because apparently there were some pedophiles who were signaling each other in the comments on various channels, and they picked up that algorithm. So they said, okay, we're going to disable comments of videos with kids. Okay, and that's fine. Obviously, you want to protect the kids. Well, what ended up happening was that they were disabling comments for videos that also do not show kids. As a matter of fact, on my channel, my kids are only in about 5% of my videos. This will be my 259th video. My kids have been in probably around 10, maybe 12 at the most. So what happened was all of my comments got disabled, but YouTube did tell us that there was a way that we could override that and we could still enable our comments if we wanted to. So that's what most of us channels did. We enabled our comments, but I always have it so that if there's anything that's potentially inappropriate, I have that to be marked for review, and then I will go over that later. So that was fine. I enabled all of my comments again. And then yesterday, I found out that all of my comments were disabled again. And I, this time, could not enable them. Like there was no way I could bypass it this time. And I thought that this was something that was going on with like all of the other channels. So I decided, I asked a few friends who have channels, and I also just checked some other channels that I know, some homeschooling channels like mine, some bigger channels that I know always have their kids on their videos, like their videos are completely about their kids. I checked those channels. They all had their comments. And at that point, all I saw was my channel. My channel was the only one that had comments disabled. Everyone else had still been able to enable their comments. So that really frustrated me to no end because, you know, when you see other channels where their kids are literally on 100% of their videos and they're allowed to have comments, but my kids are on 10 of mine and I was not able to have comments. So I started to suspect that maybe there was something a little bit more to this, a little bit more to the story than what they were saying. So I sent, a message to YouTube just questioning. I would like to know why some people have their comments enabled and I can't even enable mine anymore. And I explained my kids are in 5% of my videos. And they emailed me back saying that some people have not been able to enable their comments because their channels are considered to be higher risk. And I'm thinking to myself, how is my channel higher risk? My kids are barely in my videos, and the other channels, literally, I hate to say it, but they have like little girls twerking and stuff in these other videos that have comments. And I'm just thinking something isn't right. So then on top of that, I'm scrolling through my videos and I noticed that the nature study video that had my kids in it that I posted last summer was demonetized. A nature study video. That's all it was. My kids playing in the creek, in their clothing, fully clothed, not even bathing suits. And so again, I put in for an appeal, And I got also that message back today, and they said that they manually reviewed that video of my kids literally just doing nature study in the creek. And they said that they found that, yes, it was inappropriate for all advertisers. I'm going to say it again, a video of kids playing in the creek. So that really got me going because again, I'm mentioning that I'm sure that some of you have seen what some of these other videos have, and these videos are monetized, they have comments, and all of a sudden my video disabled comments. They demonetized a video of my kids playing in the creek, and I'm just thinking, what's going on? And then a couple people actually let me know that they also, whenever I post new videos, they don't get any notifications. Now, I have since been told by a bunch of other people they do get my notifications, and that is reassuring. Thank you. I do know that not everybody is getting them. They said they don't get, like the regular notification on the phone, or they don't get emails, nothing. So everything that is going on with that just really got me thinking about censorship. So I am not going to complain about my problems with my channel this whole live stream. I'm done. I just wanted to let you know what was going on and why I decided to do this video today, because honestly, the stuff going on with my channel is tiny. It is insignificant. It is literally a drop in, the ocean of censorship that's going on. But again, it's something that I decided that I really wanted to address with all of you. So let me just take a quick peek over at the chat comments over here, just so that I can see what's going on. And then I will continue on with this, answer any questions that some of you might have. I saw that some of you were saying that you got the notification. So I'm glad to hear that. Let me see. And I just want to say hi to everybody. Hi, Kristen, Dream, Achieve, Repeat, Joe, Love for All, Kelly Patterson, Kathy Fox, Cecilia. Let me see. Kristen said there are plenty of granola moms breastfeeding and letting their toddlers run around in the nude on their videos. Yeah, they still have comments enabled. That's what I'm saying. I'm just wondering now, if it is really about protecting kids and protecting them from pedophiles signaling each other in the comments, then yes, by all means do that. But it just seems like they are only doing it to certain people. If it is really about protecting kids, like videos that have kids in them, why isn't it all of them? Why does it just seem to be some of them? It makes no sense to me. And you would honestly think, I don't even have 6,000 subscribers. You would think they would be more concerned with a channel that has millions of subscribers, that 100% of their videos are starring their kids, where I have a tiny little channel. My kids are hardly ever in it, and for some reason they're targeting me. So I'm just like, okay, it just doesn't seem right to me. Anyway, Nellie's granddaughter, hi, how are you? Hi, Allison, I'm glad to see you here. Aaron, I'm glad to see you here too, and you got a notification. Twins at Heart and Family, hi. Cecilia Calvin, actually the channel Our Tribe of Many has their comments been disabled for the last 3 to 4 weeks. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. No, I've never watched that channel, Cecilia. Are they homeschoolers too? I'm just curious. I'm trying to find some sort of pattern for how they're choosing this, because it honestly, at this point, the channels that you would think would have their comments disabled or would not have monetized videos, they have no problems. And I've noticed it's the bigger channels. Sure, they bring in more ad revenue. Maybe they're given more leniency. I don't know. Let me see. Kristen said there are others who don't have any kids whatsoever or mention of kids, and they are disabled. They happen to be vegans. Yeah, I don't know what it is. And like I said, my videos that are now, I will say they enabled comments on my latest video, the one that I posted today, which ironically was called YouTube Disabled My Comments. Here's how to reach me. That is actually the title of the video. They enabled the comments within 5 minutes of me posting that video. They enabled the comments on that video and a few others, but most of mine, somebody pointed out to me, I thought they enabled it in all of them, and I was really happy. And for a couple hours, I thought, okay, this is all worked out. Nope, it's only a few of my videos that have the comments enabled. And again, there's no rhyme or reason to which videos have disabled comments, because Most of the videos with disabled comments are just me talking, no child involved at all. So anyway, I don't know. Yeah, Kristen, you're right. I'm sure buzzwords are definitely flagged. Absolutely. Um, yeah, they probably are nailing me for the stuff that I talk about. I know, but it's like, you know what? At least be honest. Don't tell people that it's for one thing and then it's for something else. Um, all right. Tachi Mitchell said this all sounds like conspiracy theory stuff, but it is not. You're spot on. YouTube, Google, Facebook there. So biased against Christian conservative issues. It's not even funny. I know. I know. Um, Kristen, I've been reading. I don't use Google, though I use a few different search engines. Yes, I just most recently started using DuckDuckGo. I like don't even try to use Google anymore. Um, Let me see. Kristen said it's pretty gray. Many conservatives have gotten the axe. Yeah. And this has nothing to do with predators. It's 100% a diversion. I absolutely agree because I would like to know what was going on yesterday. YouTube was acting up, Instagram was acting up, and so was Facebook. And I know that Facebook and Instagram, somebody pointed out to me that they're owned by, I think they're both owned by Mark Zuckerberg. So should I have even said his name? Who knows? Isn't that crazy that you're like afraid to say stuff? It's literally 1984. But anyway, I know that they're both connected, but I'm like, what was going on yesterday? Really? Um, Let me see. Oh, I just missed something. Sorry. Okay, Stephanie Turpin said one of the children who makes millions on here, their comments were disabled. Yeah, I noticed my kids watch this channel called Sis versus Bro, and I noticed that their comments are disabled. But then when I checked other channels like FGTV, Funnel Vision, Cole and Savannah, or Savannah and Cole, I don't know which way it is, their comments are fine. So I don't know. Um, so the channel A Gathered Nest is a homeschool channel with their comments entirely disabled. Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, I don't know. Stephanie, the one that you're talking about, is that a homeschooling channel too? Just trying to figure out what's going on. Anyway, um, I follow a lady named Amber at Fairly Local Vegan, and she's a zero waste vegan who homeschools. There's that homeschool thread again. Um, let's see. Hi, Lily. Lily from New Jersey. Yes, it is. And you know what? And it's not even just me. They're just doing it to a bunch of people. And it's frustrating with everything else that's going on, with all the other censorship that's happening on Amazon and Etsy and social media. It's crazy. Um, Let me see. Yeah, and there are some pretty disgusting people who still have their comments and monetization enabled. Oh, sorry, Joe. I'm sorry that you have to leave early, but I'm glad you stopped by. Um, Hi, Queen Peach. Nice to have you here. Okay, so anyway, I decided that I was like, so just when I start thinking about something, it keeps going through my mind, which is a lot of times how my videos end up getting made, and a lot of times how my blog posts get written. Now, I've got to say that it seems with me that like I use different platforms like for different aspects of me, if that makes any sense. Like my channel here, I mainly talk about homeschooling, education, mainly those sorts of things. I do mix in other things that are related to it, parenting, but that's mainly what I keep for this channel for. Instagram, I usually talk more, about the same stuff that I do here, but a lot of times on Instagram, I will mention the V word more often, if you know what I'm talking about. And I will talk, just about chemtrails. Yes, I see them up in the sky all the time. I talk about those on Instagram. I usually I don't talk about that. That's probably the first time I ever mentioned it here on my channel. And then Twitter, I kind of use more like for political stuff. And Facebook is just like where I share everything out because that is my least favorite platform out of them all. But anyway, so today, and on my blog, it's kind of like a watered down version of what I talk about on my channel. I've found that you guys are such a great audience, and I love having, hi, Elizabeth, nice to see you, and Bookish Homeschool. So I've noticed that you guys are so awesome. You're such a great community of people, like-minded people. And I also have a great community of people who follow my blog as well. However, I kind of water it down a little bit, but today I did write a blog post concerning what I'm talking about today with the censorship and homeschooling and those sorts of things. Um, so I just wanted to just actually read to you guys really quickly what I wrote on my blog post today. I do have it linked in the description box below, but I wanted to read it to you. And I'm totally expecting to find, like, to wake up in the morning and find that I lost, like, 1,000 followers on my blog because of what I wrote about today, because I'm sure that it's going to seem insane to them. But I'm going to read to you what I wrote. And yeah, I was scared to press publish. But anyway, yeah, it's called Homeschooling, Censorship, and How They're Connected. So let me just get started reading this. We're living in a world today of mass censorship, whether it's blocking dissenting opinions on mainstream social media platforms, removing information that goes against the status quo from websites like Amazon and Etsy, or discriminating against conspiracy theory videos on YouTube. One thing is clear. We, the people, are no longer trusted to do our own research or form our own opinions on anything of importance. The powers that be, with the help of Google and the aforementioned companies, have taken it upon themselves to censor any information that doesn't fit their plans for globalization. Homeschooling is one of those things. Unless you've been living under a rock, you're likely aware that many of our leaders and their minions have been coming out in droves in order to attack homeschooling via insanely dictatorial legislation and discrediting the main legal counsel of most homeschoolers, HSLDA, by accusing them of colluding with Russia. No, I'm not even kidding. You might be wondering why homeschooling is such a threat to the establishment. I'll tell you: freedom. Those who really run our government have had a stranglehold on the American education system for 150 years now. Generations of people have been indoctrinated and educated with scientism and the worldview that make us easier to control by those in power. The homeschooling community has been growing exponentially over the past several years, as has the number of people who have been red-pilled about the fact that things aren't what they appear to be. The combination of these two forces has created a resistance that this country hasn't seen for decades. We are waking up, and the rulers of this world don't like it. That's where censorship comes in. For the most part, our population has been extremely trusting and complacent, two things that are ground into us from the first day of kindergarten. We're taught to unwaveringly listen to authority and have faith in the notion that other people have already figured everything out. All we need to do is obey. Sadly, most people are still like that. They're completely at peace with thinking that everything is as it seems to be. However, this resistance that I spoke of earlier has flourished to the point that it is quite evident that people are breaking free of the slave mentality. Up until this point, people have been redirected from doing research on their own by being conditioned with the aversion to becoming a conspiracy theorist, a term coined by the CIA to deter people into looking into what really happened to JFK. Fortunately, that fear no longer affects a large number of people. As a result, millions of people have become aware of the lies and inconsistencies told to us by the government that we've always taken for granted to be the absolute truth. Enter censorship. All I can say is those who think they own us are getting desperate to the point that they are willing to face public backlash by censoring books, speech, and any sort of dissenting opinion, all in the name of protecting the people from faulty information, aka the truth. Think about it. If this information is faulty, then it should be easy to prove it wrong. Why cover it up? And here's the clincher. I myself was one of those blindly trusting people until I started homeschooling my children. One of the most foundational lessons I try to instill in my kids is to do their own research and come to their own conclusions about things. I can't very well effectively do that if I don't practice what I preach, can I? Looking into things myself and going against the status quo was hard for me at first. I had many sleepless nights and even experienced bouts of anxiety and depression. Yes, the lies run that deep, but I would never go back. In a way, homeschooling is the key that unlocked my chain. So yes, homeschooling and censorship are indeed connected. As a community, we need to fight this with every ounce of energy we have, because a truly educated world will always have access to both sides of every story. And as homeschooling parents, a balanced education is our duty to our children. They deserve nothing less. So anyway, sorry if I bored you with that, but I just wanted to read that to you because that is my passion. Elizabeth, Alyssa Beth, thank you so much for the super chat. I really, really enjoy it. Not enjoy it. I'm really, really thankful. I'm sorry. I can't even think straight. I appreciate it so much, Elizabeth. So let me see what you guys had to say. I hope you don't mind that I decided to read that, but I was just hoping that it would um make help just bring about conversation and talk about things that we're afraid to talk about. And the thing is, here's the thing, okay? The reason that this censorship is happening is because we have been silent for too long. We have been complacent because up until this point, we haven't really had to deal with hardships. And what has ended up happening is that we no longer have a voice. We no longer use that voice. And nothing is ever going to change until we all start speaking up. And I know that a lot of people are afraid to speak up about this sort of thing, because yes, you can get banned from social media platforms. You can get demonetized or have your comments disabled on YouTube. And yeah, there is backlash. But if you don't say anything, no one is going to know. So the only thing that I can think of is that we need to keep speaking this truth. Because yes, even though all of that backlash might happen, we have numbers. We have huge numbers of people who feel the same way that we do. And if we would all just step up and say something, think about it. They can't keep banning everyone. They will have no people left on their platforms except for those who disagree with us. They will lose so much financially if they keep banning everybody, if they keep blocking everybody. They would be shooting themselves in the foot if they would do that. It's hard. It's really about courage. It's nerve-wracking, but I think it's at that point where we've got to do something. So anyway, I wanted to just read the chat really quick. Let me see. I have to go all the way up here. All right. Kendall Peterson said, I've noticed that channels such as Sam and Nia who don't homeschool have comments, but Joyful Chaos, which is a mama of unschoolers, This Gathered Nest, and others don't have comments. That's what I mean. Let's see. Yeah, Instagram is owned by Facebook. Kristen, who is Ask Jeeves? I never heard of that. Let me see. So Kristen said, if I don't like something, I simply do not view it. Yes, I don't need the YouTube police disabling it for others because of my delicate sensibilities. Yes, that is like the awesome thing about social media. You can just keep scrolling. If you see something you're not interested in, if you see something that you disagree with and you don't really feel like dealing with it, no one's making you watch it. This is not a captive audience issue. You just keep scrolling. Anyway, Bookish Homeschool said, some of the homestead channels I follow have them disabled, so I just went and checked, and it is the ones who homeschool as well. It may have something to do with fringe living. Yes, because you cannot control people who are not brought up under the indoctrination of the government. And yeah, I don't care if it sounds like a conspiracy theory. It's a conspiracy fact. It is true. You can go back and read any history book, history about education. It will, if you just read it with open eyes and not with this glazed look that we all, seem to have upon graduation from high school, except for a relative few who don't seem to really bend to that mold, it's true. So anyway, thank you, Tachi. Tachi said, we heart you, Shelly. Thank you. I love all of you guys too. I look forward to my live stream so much. Let me see. Danny said a lot of people are switching to MeWe. Yeah, I actually have an account there, but I have never actually gone on it yet. I do have, just so you know, just in case, I do also post videos on BitChute. I don't like saying it because it sounds like my kids are always like, Mom, you just said a curse word. No, I'm saying BitChute. I'm on there too. And I am also on Gab. I just joined Dissenter today. I'm trying to figure out how to add the extension because I am not tech savvy, but I did sign up for that today. So yeah. And I am on MeWe, but I have never actually gone on it yet. I just got an account there so far. Let me see. Yeah, Kristen said it's kind of like the whole V thing. You can't even talk about that now. Queen Peach, thank you so much for subscribing. Kristen said our library just banned anti-V books. Even now they're trying to pull them from Amazon and eBay. Yeah, they've already started pulling them from Amazon. Um, let me see. Julie said, I started a list of books I'm going to buy on Amazon. Got my first one today. Yeah, I just got one today too. Let me see. Kristen said, my mother in law and father in law are both doctors. Neither are content with the American V schedule. Yeah, but heaven forbid that anyone should speak out about that, right? Can't let people know that. Um, Let me see. Kristen said, I heard it at the library today. They had a petition posted there. Was it a petition to keep the books there, or was it a petition trying to get them taken out of the library? I'm just curious. Um, Crystal said, my Pete is fine with me doing a delayed schedule. So thankful I found her. I wish I could say that about mine. I sometimes you just feel like you're being bullied. Um, So Kristen says, so you can bet if this tiny little town has a petition with hundreds of signatures, other places are doing the same thing. And you're right. You're right, Crystal. The truth always prevails. Um, Let me see. And Kristen said, I also saw in a homeschool Facebook group that over 20 people were dropped by their doctors for delaying or refusing certain things. It's this now. Yep, later it'll be something else. Exactly right. That is exactly right. Thank you, Nicole, so much. Thank you, Allison. Thank you, Elliot. Thank you, Crystal and Elizabeth. Thank you so much. Um, Lily said the doctors do make people leave their offices if parents choose not to V. Yeah, some of them do. A lot of them do. Um, and Kristen said America is in a bad place. No one can agree on anything at all. If someone disagrees with you, it's now okay to attack and silence them. And that's a whole part of this like red pilled thing. People think that being red pilled is like a Republican versus Democrat thing. And that's not what it is at all. Being red pilled is waking up to the fact that we are being pitted against each other so that we don't see the other things that they are doing, the things that we really should be worried about. We are constantly being distracted by differences, whether it's, like liberal versus conservative, black versus white, anti V versus pro V, like all of these different things, they are pitting us against one another. And that is what the whole red pill thing is about. It's not about a political party. It's about realizing that we are being played. We really are. And it's amazing to see so many people waking up to it. Yeah, don't use Amazon. Yeah, that's what I'm starting. And it's a shame that they have like such a almost like monopoly on everything. Um, Thank you so much, Rosa. And Elizabeth said, if we are crazy, then why wouldn't they leave us in our crazy corner? It's because we're hitting a nerve and spreading truth, and they hate it. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Um, Kristen, old school search engine, like early 2000s. Is that what that was that I asked you for? Okay. Cloudy Day said, when you start questioning the government and looking deeper into things, it's a pretty terrifying rabbit hole to go down. But once your eyes are open, there's no going back. That's true. I always say, once you see, you can't unsee. And a few several just even a few years ago, I didn't know most of what I know now. And yeah, it was scary. It was nerve-wracking. There were times that I would go to sleep and I would just want to cry because I would realize that we have honestly been lied to about so many things. And I don't want to get into like everything. I'm not going to get into any of that right now because that's what this is about. I want you to do your own research. Really, do your own research. I don't want to influence anybody or anything like that, but yes, if I tell my kids, I want you to find your own information, I want you to do your own research, I want you to form your own opinion, come to your own conclusions, then I need to do that too. Because if I don't do that and I continue to just follow what other people tell me, that's exactly what my kids are going to do. And we have to break this. We have to break this pattern. Let me see. Kristen said, actually, oh, where am I? Okay, actually, my husband follows a lot of tiny house and yacht living channels. Oh, and many of them were disabled. Really? I wonder why they were disabled. They can't use the kid excuse for them. Let me see. Elliott Family Shenanigans. I know several people are starting to use Minds. I've been hearing that a lot too. I did not join that one yet. But yes, Julie, I am. I'm on to Censor. I just have to figure out how to install that extension. I have no idea. I looked at it and I was like, okay, I'm going to do this later because I can't even concentrate that hard to do it. Kristen said a petition to remove them from Amazon. They were already removed from the library. They won't even request them. And that is the sad part. You know, book burning used to be frowned upon. And now we basically have people wanting that to happen. And I say it all the time. This is 1984. If you have never read the book 1984, read it. I guarantee you are going to have chills going down your spine at how close it is to what we are coming to right now, especially with all this censorship, with all of these the powers that be wanting to silence, like certain information and only wanting us to know other things, the things that they want us to know. It's frightening. It really is. Let me see. Yeah, weaving through homeschool life, and some of us get bullied so much about being by docs, we don't go to traditional doctors at all. Yes, I was actually going to start looking for a chiropractor for my kids. Um, anyway, Bookish Homeschool said I was living in New York City and my kids were in New York City public schools. A few years ago, I decided it was time to get out of that life. Yes. And it's such a huge difference. It really is. If you allow yourself to just break free of the public school mindset and realize like that education doesn't have to look like that, it is it's so different. It's so freeing. Um, Weaving through homeschool life said, I'm grateful my husband is our library director. He's not sure he agrees with me about lots of things, but he feels like there should be a balanced view on everything. He was homeschooled. Yes. And that's what it's about. It's about being balanced. I don't want to tell you what to believe. I just want to have the information from both sides. And I want people to look into them and to make their own informed decision because so many people today, they're not making informed decisions about things. They are just, again, going back to that whole follow authority. People smarter than I am already figured this out. Well, that person is a doctor, so I'm going to listen to them. That person is a scientist, so I'm going to listen to them. And it's like no one wants to look into things anymore. And so that's really what it's all about. To me, it's not so much about what decision you make. It's the fact that you actually looked into it. And you can't look into things if you don't have both sides of information. And if we don't have a balanced look at so many different things, at life in general, what is this world going to turn into? We're going to be automatons who just do as we're told. It's scary. Okay. Bookish Homeschool said I pulled my kids out to homeschool them and I got so much pushback and fight from the school. It was awful. They even called CPS to do a welfare check on my kids. I would like to know why so many of these school districts don't understand that homeschooling is legal in all 50 states. Like, what is so hard for them to understand about that? It's mind-boggling. Let me see. Tim Pool and some others are starting to use it instead, Gab, to the extension in the platform. Yeah, I have to look into mines too. Someone actually told me about BitChute is like YouTube. That's what it is. It posts videos. But there is another one that someone told me about yesterday. I think it's called Bright Eon, like Bright Eon, but it's all one word.com. And I'm going to look into that too. Apparently that is also a free speech platform for you to post videos on. So I'm going to look into that also. Let me see. Bookish Homeschool said, best decision I ever made. Moved to Arizona where I grew up, and wow, what a difference with homeschool. So easy, no government involvement. Oh, that must be lovely. Let me see. I see everybody's comments about the V's. I just don't want to keep reading them out loud because I just honestly don't trust things anymore. So yeah, isn't that awful? God bless America, right? Queen Peach said, I have become a skeptic of everything we see on the media. Yes. And that's even with this situation going on, like with my channel today. I don't want to go back to it, but I'm using this as an example. Even the situation with like what's going on with my channel, and people kept telling me, well, they're doing it because pedophiles, and they're telling me about that. And I think that it almost seems like a lot of people just automatically believe what they said. But if you actually look at it, you see that it's not what they said, because if it was, if they were actually doing the comment disablement for that reason, it wouldn't just be certain channels. It would be all channels with kids. And it seems really hard to get people to understand that. And they're saying, the same thing when I mentioned that one of my videos was monetized. They said, well, it's probably because your kids were in it. There are hundreds of thousands of videos with kids in that are monetized on YouTube. So if that were the case, it would be all of them, And why are they picking on me, a really tiny YouTuber? Again, like I said, a drop in the ocean, literally. No, and that's what I just, when they might tell me that they're doing things for a certain reason, but it doesn't mean that I have to believe it. Let me see. Kelly Patterson, it was nice to see you. I hope you have a good night. Okay, Nicole said, what is the book 1984 about? I just want to make sure nobody else said anything. It's like a dystopian future book. Does anybody remember when it was written? Was it in the 1930s? The author was George Orwell, and it was basically about, it was supposed to be the year 1984 in this book, and like how he saw things were going to look. And in this book, like history, people didn't know true history. History was rewritten. They would get rid of books, they would burn books, they would rewrite them so that people wouldn't know actually what was going on. They were not allowed to say certain words, aka hate speech. They were not allowed to say certain words. They actually, what was it called? Was it Ingsoc or Ingsoc? I don't remember, but they had a name for a new sort of spoken language where they cut out a bunch of words that you were not allowed to say, because their thought is that if you diminished the vocabulary of people, it would also diminish their thought, because if they didn't have the words to express themselves, eventually they would no longer have those feelings. And if you just read what's going on, it's eerily similar to today. It's a classic. They actually have a lot of kids read it in high school, which surprises me. It really surprises me. That and Brave New World, because Brave New World, I think, is another glimpse into what our future looks like. And I'm always shocked that they have school kids read that. I almost think, are they thinking to themselves, okay, we're going to gauge these kids and see which kids are awake and say something about these books? It's the only reason I can think that they would actually have them reading that. Anyway. Yeah, Crystal said, my husband likes to say to people to read 1984 as an instruction manual. Yep, that is exactly right. And it just went all the way up. Let me see. Yes, Weaving Through Homeschool Life said that they hate tiny living because it's non-consumeristic, and they can't keep you if you're not in debt either. Right? They need that consumerism. It has to be there. That's what keeps the economy going. That was part of the reason that school was instituted in the first place. Get kids out of the home. They no longer learn the skills of how to take care of themselves. They have to have a consumer-driven lifestyle because they lose the skills for how to take care of themselves. That consumer-driven lifestyle is what keeps our economy going. Let me say. Oh, Tachi, I hope you have a good night. You probably already left. I'm sorry I didn't see it before. Let's see. I'm just going to keep. Oh, Animal Farm. Yeah, that's another good one too. I actually really like that. I read that. I did read that one in high school. Armors and Arrows says, I am seeing a pattern with homeschoolers and homesteaders channels comments being disabled. Yes. And a lot of times, there's a lot of homesteaders are homeschoolers. So a lot of times they're together, not always, but yeah, they're definitely linked together. Let me see. Kathy Fox said, we need to compile a list together of alternative ways or resources to continue getting the word out in this censorship environment. Yes, absolutely. That's what we have to do. Yeah. It's going to come to that. I know it. Newspeak. Thank you, Julie. I'm like so far behind. You guys are probably like way ahead of me in the chat. I'm sorry. But yes, that's what it is. Newspeak. Anyway. Um, yeah, Lily, you have to read it. Anyway. Elliot Family Shenanigans said, I think that some of my friends think I'm crazy. This is real stuff. There is so much censorship happening right now. I know. And that's the thing. They want they want people to look at you like you're crazy. That's what they want, because most of the people then won't care. They'll just sit idly by with, not making a peep about it. That is exactly what they want. AM said, we kept saying that because it appeared to be true at first. Clearly they are up to something. Yes, they absolutely are. Let me see. Govol said, I homeschooled my child for 2.5 years and got burnt out and had a baby and needed a break. I put her back in public school 6 months ago. And although I'm thankful for the much needed break, we are going back to homeschooling this coming school year. You were better than me. When I put my kids back in school, it was for 2 years. I call those the dark days. Let me see. Cloudy days. If you're still here, I hope you have a good night. Let me see. Weaving Through Homeschool Life said our high school teacher gave us either Brave New World or 1984. You got Brave New World. It permanently scarred me. Yeah. I mean, it's a good book. I want to read it again, but it's scary. It is chilling. So Nicole said, since we've been lied to for so long, you have to ask yourself, when is the last time I actually thought for myself? Because almost all of our so-called decisions are not decisions made by us at all. No, you're exactly right. Because it's, a lot of times I allude to school, but it's not just school. It's the media. It's, like the news outlets. It's the shows that we watch, the commercials, it's what you see on social media. Yes, there are literally algorithms to make you think certain ways. It is just, that's why I always say, like, 1984, 1984. All right. Kristen said, my husband has traveled the world and always says how disgusting it is that Americans are almost begging to have their rights taken away when others would kill for our rights. Yes, it's like they don't understand what freedom is anymore. Let me see. Kristen said, he said today, why on earth did he fight for our rights and almost lose his life and his mind? And the people are just trying to stomp all over free speech. Amen. Amen. And tell him thank you for his service. There are some people who appreciate it. Bookish Homeschool said, the thing is that so many people just buy into it. It amazes me how many people repeat the same dumb concerns about homeschool and homesteading. Yeah, just do some research into it. Yes, it's true. It's true. Nicole, dream, achieve, repeat. Is that from 1984? Isn't that terrible? I don't remember that. Is Fahrenheit 451 a similar book to the 1984 you're talking about? Yeah. Well, Fahrenheit 451 is definitely a shorter read. I read that one also, and it is a really good book. And yeah, that's also about good book burning, and they don't want a lot of information going out. I think 1984 is like more all encompassing about different aspects of society, but Fahrenheit 451 is another great read. And yeah, that's another one that is almost prophetic when you read it. Let me see. And Crystal said, right, Kristen, it is so sad and scary that so many people want to be controlled. And yeah. Anyway, so I think that I got everybody's chat comments right now. But what was it that I was going to think? So yes, censorship is, that was one of my kids' phones that scared me. Anyway, so yeah, censorship, it came about partially, well, I think mostly because they know that people are waking up. It scares them. They're bringing this kind of out of their toolbox, and they're going to start using this to kind of shut off that information that they possibly never even expected to get out. Like maybe they never thought that people would wake up. Although if you read books like George Orwell's 1984, they might have had some clue that people were going to wake up, because to this day, I truly believe that he knew something, because I know, and that sounds goofy, and maybe it is just goofy, but I always say it's like he knew something, because it is so spot on. The year is wrong, obviously, but even in the book they say he's not even really sure what year it is, because you can't believe they can't believe anything that they're told. So he's not even sure that it's 1984 in the book. But anyway, let me see. Um, Cookie Crumb Fun. Hi, how are you? Cookie Crumb Fun is the one who originally let me know weeks ago that my comments were disabled. So thank you. You were there from the very beginning with me. And she was also the one who told me that today that not all of my comments were enabled. Like I thought all of my comments were enabled again, and she messaged me on Instagram and she said, "Nope, they're not all on." So thank you for looking out for me. Um, Shelby Silverstein said they're probably picking on you because they might consider you as being a truther, and most truthers on YouTube get the bad end of the stick. Yep. Yep. Um, Let me see. Bookish homeschool. I am curious if one day the them we all talk about will be revealed as some government club. Yeah, I don't know. I just like I always say them because you don't really have like a definite 100%, you don't have a definite person to point the finger at. There are people that you can suspect and people that might have something to do with it, but you don't know. So you can't really say anything for sure. So it turns to them because that's the thing, when you want to find out the truth about things, you don't want to just make accusations about certain people if you don't know for sure. It has to be about the truth. It has to be the truth. Um, Let me see. Shelby said, I love your channel and your content. You have helped my family tremendously. I'm so glad to hear that. I'm so glad to hear that. Um, I just don't remember if I wanted to say anything else. So yeah, so that's the thing, like I mentioned earlier, I was definitely one of those people that I trustingly believed everything that the government told me. And homeschooling really did open my eyes to question things. There are so many things now that, like I mentioned earlier, once you see certain things, you can't unsee them. And um, homeschooling is really what opened my eyes, especially like even John Taylor Gatto. I talk about him a lot on my channel because he was a driving force behind what I call my awakening because he helped me take, not personally, I wish I knew him, but through his books, he helped me take that first step into realizing that schools aren't what people think they are. And I had nothing against school. I did well in school. I was one of those kids that fit into to the school mold. So while there are some things that I can say about, that some classes were boring and I didn't like some teachers, all in all, I did enjoy school. So I wasn't one of those people going into homeschooling who automatically didn't like school. And I just happened to come across his book at the library. I was looking for homeschooling books. They didn't have any. So I moved into the education system, or not system, the education section at the library. And that's when I found Dumbing Us Down, the hidden curriculum of education. And so when I read that he is the one that really opened my eyes to the truth behind the education system. And once you realize what foundation that was built upon, you have to look at everything else differently. Everything. Because that is where they prepare you. You know, that is where they kind of get you ready. And if that in itself has a really sinister beginning, you can't look at anything else the same. And that's why I always say now, question everything. Don't just blindly accept things just because someone that you think is smarter than you are said so. Look into things. God gave you a brain for a reason. And yes, it's getting harder and harder to find balanced information. We're not going to be able to seek the truth anymore if we don't have that balanced set of information, which is why, yes, like for search engines, I use DuckDuckGo, but I'm starting to worry, like, where are we going to, what is going to happen when no one offers these other books anymore? What is it going to be like, when our own children are adults? What are they going to have to go through in order to seek the truth? Because these things are happening quickly. And that's why I think it is so important that we start speaking up. And people are speaking up about so many things now. And I just think that it's really, really important that we just keep adding to their numbers. We have to add to the numbers. So anyway, let me see what you guys have to say. Sorry, I'm going back up. Kristen said, too many of our government officials are hiding behind the facade of being Christian. Nothing they stand for. None of this is Christian. It's pure evil. Yes, absolutely. Um, Brandy Nunziati, I hope I said that right. I'm so grateful to have found your channel. It's my first time here. I'm so happy to have you here. Um, let me see. Ooh, where did I go? Okay, Kristen said, mind you, I am not Christian, I am Catholic, and I am by no means strict or super focused on it, but I was raised to believe that the Bible would never fail me as a moral compass. It hasn't failed me. Yes, that is true. BIBLE, basic instructions before leaving Earth. Um, and that's because it has literally stood the test of time. If you actually look at the principles that are truly written down in the Bible, yes, they are the foundation. They have been proven to bear good fruit. Okay, Don Harris said, so much of what happens today feels like a real life version of the Matrix. So many seem to be walking around gladly giving up their freedom with seemingly no idea what they are doing. Yes, absolutely. Weaving through homeschool life, the thing is, Christian or not, what is happening isn't moral according to any religious or moral belief code. Not Buddhism, not Muslim, not Judaism, not anything. No, it's not. It's like there's no morality anymore, at least not, good morality. Um, you're welcome, Cookie Crumb Fun, for mentioning DuckDuckGo. RMZ 450 says education is a lifelong journey, not K through 12. That's what I teach my son. Amen. Amen. And I love learning. Like, I am such a nerd. I'm always reading at least 2 books at a time. Like, always. My mind doesn't stop working. Let me see. Crystal said, I just told my daughter that yesterday. God gave you a brain for a reason. It's so true, right? Let me see. Kathy said they probably have comments enabled on this one because they're monitoring us and watching. Probably. Let me see. They're probably trying to figure out how many people are onto the truth. Oh, Cookie Crumb Fun said my first name is Claire. Thank you. Isn't that terrible? Because so many of you, when you comment here, you just use the names that you use on YouTube. So I'm glad to know that your first name is Claire. Yeah, because I do feel funny calling you Cookie Crumb Fun, although it's a cute name for your channel. Let me see. Where was I? Kristen said, haha, my mom always asks how I can read 3 to 4 books at once. My grandpa used to tell me, use my head for something other than a hat rack. Well, and that's exactly what we're doing. Actually, I would probably be reading more than 2 books right now if I had the time because I have a stack of books. Dahlia's Roses said, hi, my name is Kat. Yes, I always call you Dahlia's Roses too. Casey Joe said, I'm late, aren't I? That's okay. Better late than never, right? Let's see. Johnny Canales said, hey there. Good to see you. My name really is Johnny, the woman. It's nice to see you, Johnny. I actually knew another woman named Johnny too. She used to be friends with my son. Yes. And Kristen said, I always have a stack of books. Me too. I got about, probably about half a dozen new books through Amazon. I hate to say it now, but it was before like all this happened, but they're like patiently waiting for me to read them. And I keep looking at them like salivating because I want to just dive into all of them. But my mom, I mentioned to her the other night because she ended up back at the ER. She broke her shoulder last Thursday and then she ended up back there again. Was that last night? No, 2 nights ago. Yeah. 2 nights ago, she ended up back at the ER again. And while we were sitting there talking, I mentioned that I'm reading 2 books. And she said, how is it that you don't get them confused? And I have done that already. But the 2 that I'm reading now are like so dissimilar to one another that there's no possible way that you can get them confused. So one is like a Christian book by, oh my gosh, I always say his name, Dr. Michael Heiser. It's called The Unseen Realm. So I'm reading that. And then the other one is actually, I found it at the thrift store the other day. I saw, you guys are going to laugh because you know me, Agenda 21. So I thought it was like a nonfiction book and it's written by Glenn Beck. And I used to watch him back when I had cable. I don't have cable anymore. But I'm like, oh, Glenn Beck wrote a book about Agenda 21. Oh, cool. So I got it at the thrift store, and it ended up that it's not, or not nonfiction, it's fiction, but it still seems really good. But anyway, yeah, the two topics are different enough that I'm not going to get those two confused. If I do, there's a problem. But anyway, let me see. Casey Joe said, did you still need a moderator or did you get some already? I did get one. Thank you though, Casey Joe. If I'm Lord willing, because I don't ever like to say that I'm definitely doing something anymore, but Lord willing, I'm planning on doing another live stream again next week. So if you would like to moderate for me, then Casey Joe, thank you, Julie, for doing it for me today. Casey Joe, if you would like to do it next week, if you just stop in early, I can add you in as a moderator. Julie, if you had fun and like doing it, you can always stop in early too, or not. It's fine. I really appreciate the help though, you guys, because I honestly, because of the title of my live stream today, I really expected to get a bunch of trolls here, because if you guys were here the last time, what were there, like 4? So anyway. Uper Couple said, this is Ray Lynn, by the way. Oh, I have a lot of names to remember now. My husband let me loose in Barnes & Noble with $200 for Valentine's. Ooh, oh my gosh, I would have had so much fun. My daughter used to work at Barnes & Noble. She worked there for about 6 months. Oh my gosh, it was awesome. I used to love to go pick her up at work because I would just go in and walk around and buy books. Anyway. Okay, weaving through homeschool life is Coral. Love having names with people. Yes. I'm going to have to get a book and write these all down. My daughter is Emma, but she's decided that she is now Jemmy. My oldest son used to tell people that his name was Max and his name is Brendan. My books make great bookends. All right. Coral said, I can't read more than one book at a time. I just can't. So I do audiobooks while I weave and do housework. Well, obviously. I'm like, you weave? Well, looking at your channel name, I should know this. I'm so dense tonight. Anyway, where am I at? Okay, Kathy Fox said there's a new company out, kind of like Amazon. I think Honey it's called, but don't know much about it. I'll have to look into that. Mrs. Friendzone said, Red Pilled Moms Unite. Yes, amen. We have to do that. Absolutely. Homeschool Mom of 11 said, I'm Amanda. I used to use my name, but didn't like my real name being out there, so I changed it. Well, I'm glad to hear your name. I hope I remember all of these. Yeah, Kristen said, I can't read audiobooks or ebooks. I need to feel the pages. That's how I am. I know that a lot of people are going to hate to hear this, but I like to turn down the pages to stop where I'm at. I always lose bookmarks, and I also sometimes like to underline things in the books. So yeah, I need actual physical books. Dawn Harris said, thank you so much for your channel and blog, the most sensible, practical advice of any home education source I have found, and I recommend you to anyone who will listen. I appreciate your experience. Thank you so much. I'm so happy to help people. Absolutely. Yes, Casey, we do have to stick together. Whoop those troll butts. Brandy Nunziati said, I feel alone in my area when it comes to homeschooling. My son was bullied his first day of being in a brick and mortar. I continued with public school for 3 weeks until you decided you needed to stop, right? I'm so sorry he went through that. Crystal said, I want to get back into reading, but I do watch a bunch of YouTube videos and listen to a bunch of podcasts. Yep. I actually watch, a lot of people will post their podcasts on YouTube. So I need to have something to look at. I can't just listen to a podcast. So sometimes they'll just have one picture up for the entire video and it'll be their podcast and I'll just be staring at the screen just because I need something to look at. That's how I learn. Marnie Gregg said, thank you for speaking the truth. I stumbled upon your channel while researching homeschooling. I've learned so much and have become so much more aware of all that is going on. I'm so enjoying homeschooling. I'm so glad to hear that. Let me see. There'll be a test next week. Oh, great, Claire. I remembered your name and I didn't have to look. You're going to test me? I really have to go back and write this down now. Let me see. I know, Kristen, I remember you said that before, that you hate when people fold pages. I was thinking of you when I said that. Anyway. I think too many people have substituted YouTube for actual reading because they can't read. And I do have to say though that I have found excellent, excellent content on YouTube. Yes, you have to use your common sense. You have to use critical thinking when looking for the right YouTube channel. And sometimes I might skip through like 15 videos before I find one that I actually think is, like solid. But there are some really great, great videos out there. Um, Let me see. Mrs. Friendzone said, we need real books. Amazon is doing a huge purge. We need to have books to bypass, to pass down to our children. Flip of the switch and we can lose all of our information. Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Kathy. So anyway, it is 11 o'clock and I just want to thank all of you for coming. It's late, at least here on the East Coast. East Coast. I'm not saying my consonants, but I'm glad you guys are here. I'm glad you guys listened to me. And it's just, again, so nice to have a community of like-minded people. So Ruth Paris, I love your videos. Greetings from Puerto Rico. It's so nice to see you too. Welcome. So I hope you didn't just get here, Ruth, because I'm ending it now. But I will be doing another live stream next week. So next Thursday, Lord willing, because you never know. You never know. But Lord willing, next week, I'm planning on doing another live stream because this is the live stream that was supposed to happen last week. So next week, I'm planning on 10 o'clock Eastern time. I hope to see some of you here. Anyway, I hope you all have a great, great evening and a great weekend, which is coming up really quickly. Have a good night.